All right, what is happening, everybody? Take two on this one. I'm very early. I'm just getting everything set up. Honestly, you can, hang up. Wait a minute, what did I just do? This is why I set up ahead of time. All right. Yeah, in about 15, 20 minutes or something like that. I'm sorry, Rex from Terra Rebels will be joining me, and we'll be having a little chat about some stuff, right? So feel free to jump in and hang out in the chat if you want. Get your questions ready. I'm gonna chat with Rex for a while. And I'll try to pay attention to what's going on in the chat as well. And eventually I'm sure we'll get to some questions. Please, everybody, behave. My mods hopefully will be in the chat and they don't take any crap. So if they're not, I'll be paying as much attention as possible. So like I said, just behave. All right. I'm gonna shut everything down. The stream is gonna keep going, but I'm gonna just kill everything as far as the audio and video until Rex gets here, which is going to be, it's currently 5:42 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna get started somewhere around 6 o'clock Eastern time. So I will see you back then. If you're watching this recorded, you can fast forward about 15 or 20 minutes before the action starts. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you in a minute. Bye. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Guys, if you could let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Also, Rex said that he wanted to get here a little early to do a little mic check himself. He's not going to have video on. It's just going to be audio, so you're going to be stuck staring at me for the whole time. But when he does jump on, let me know if you can hear his audio clearly. You should be able to, I mean, but just to double check.
You got a little worried, huh?
What was that? Was I worried?
You got a little worried I wasn't going to show up for round 2, huh?
I thought maybe you fell back asleep. Just so you know, we are already live. I'm just chatting with some people in the chat. Guys in the chat, let me know if you can hear. I know you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear Rex. Everything should be good, I believe. There's like a, I don't know, like a 15 or 20-second delay, Rex. So when I ask them a question, it takes them a while to kind of get back to me.
Yeah, that's okay. Sorry if you hear stuff in the background.
No, actually, I can't. You know, one of the things I love about Zoom is that it has really good background filters. I mean, you can hear voice and you really can't hear much of else. I'm like constantly like angry typing on my keyboard and it never picks it up. So how you feeling? You feeling a little better today, tonight, whatever time it is?
Am I allowed to curse?
Are you allowed to curse? Fuck yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like complete dog shit. That's how I feel.
Yeah, still, yeah. Uh, but better than it was, right? I mean, according you were saying that it was a little worse than it is right now. You're on the tail end of it, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, but the tail end involves a lot of coughing, a lot of, buildups and stuff like that. That's the worst part about it.
So what
Um,
happened? Is it the traveling? I mean, or were you sick before you left?
oh no, it happened during when I was traveling. I don't know what the hell happened. I caught ladyboy syndrome or something. I don't know what happened, and I just got sick and just was incapacitated for a few days. Got
What?
back up, started.
You gotta. I'm sorry, you have to explain it to me. I'm if I'm out of the loop or I'm old or whatever. What is lady voice? What does that mean? Because it don't sound good.
Um, it's a very special type of syndrome that you can only get from Thailand. Um, it only happens around 6 p.m. and up around here, and a lot of the syndromes tend to kind of spread around all different types of neighborhood. Um, I don't know how to describe this, but if you are not into 6'3" man ladies, then I suggest you to get inside your hotel by 6 p.m. every single day.
All right, enough said. I got you. I figured it had something to do with that, but that's all right. We'll leave that. We'll leave that be. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me, for being here. It's a little early. I told everybody 6 o'clock, but there's a few people here already. Guys that are in the chat, everyone that's in the chat already, if you could, make sure you hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. But most of all, share this stream. Make sure you're on Twitter or on wherever and share it. And let's get as many people in here as possible. So I tried doing this earlier, and there was quite a few people that came in, but obviously that didn't quite work out. And so I'm not sure, time zones and everything. Some people might have went to bed. I have no idea who's going to come back and who's not. But either way, that's fine because it'll be recorded and we can just kind of do our thing. So a lot of things that I wanted to kind of chat about and talk about today. But primarily, I can tell you what made me reach out to you, Rex, was one particular tweet. And I know you've been putting out a lot of tweets and you've been talking quite a bit about Terraport and some other things, but there was one particular tweet that you put out. And let me see if I can actually bring it up just so we can see it. So everyone knows what I'm talking about. Where are we? I think it was this one right here. Can you see that? Oh, no. Can you see that on your screen?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. There's obviously a delay between you and I as well, and that's because you're so far away, I'm sure. Because it seems like you're taking a few seconds before you respond to me, which is fine. We'll work with it. So anyway, this was the tweet that kind of caught my eye and said, you know what, I'm going to reach out to Rex and we're going to talk about this because I feel like you're right. And it says there are an additional 30 million Terra tokens that was distributed, but not accounted for on paper. This was only discovered through blockchain data. So is anyone here going to start asking Terraport, Terra Civita the right questions, or am I going to keep airing out dirty laundry? So you and ASOBs have really led the charge on holding some feet to the fire and trying to uncover what is actually going on here. Why don't you tell me about start wherever you want. Why don't you tell me about where you're going with this?
You mean like the reason why I even started all this?
Well, you know what? Let's start from the beginning, Rex. So there was and I'm not even sure what to call it right now, right? Because originally we thought it was a hack, and then it seems like it might be a little something different. But I'm just going to call it the incident. So the incident happened, and apparently, like my time, it was like 3 o'clock or something like that in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure. Steve, Lunkburn Army, tells me that Rexy reached out to him immediately to try to wake up Ed Kim and see if anybody could get a hold of Binance and all kind of things. But you actually took the initiative to reach out to some exchanges and get them to lock down these wallets so that nothing could be traded with them. When did you first know that something was happening?
Okay, just so there's no like confusion in what you're asking. Are you talking about when I thought something was wrong prior to the exploit or during
No,
exploit?
no, I definitely want to get to that too. I'm talking about once it actually happened, once the theft actually happened. When did you know about it? How soon after it happened did you find?
Probably roughly an hour, a little over an hour after it happened.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
I was just kind of hanging out. Ever since Gaba made that article about possible vulnerabilities and whatnot. I think it was published on 4/2 of on April 2nd. I pretty much just shared it, did my own DD on it, and came to the conclusion like, yep, there's some major issues going on with this. And ever since then, I just left it alone. If you go back to my pinned messages on Twitter and just look through the comments, you just see nothing but hate, saying that I'm just causing FUD and whatever the case is.
Yep.
Ironically, roughly 8 days later, the entire network got drained. So yeah, that same night, I guess it was around 2 a.m. On our time. I'm from Eastern time zone as well, and I got tagged in a message, and I got messaged by someone named I can't really pronounce his name, is UTextVG, saying that they're tracking down like transactions to see what's going on. And I was in that moment of like, I told you so, but at the same time, that's more of like, I told you so to the people that just kept doubting what was happening and what security risks were presented just on the front end itself. So I was really contemplating whether even doing anything or not, because I already knew I had the contacts to the exchanges, but then, I just thought better of it. Like, why would I let these people get away I'm more of mindset of Ed Kim in this situation where if I can help, then I will help. I don't expect anything in return. I just want to help make a difference.
Yeah. Rex, did we know, was it already announced that Yogaba wrote this article?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plenty of times.
All right. I mean, I didn't, at first, when it first came out, it was kind of like a, anonymous kind of thing. And he and I and some other people had chatted about and kind of joked about, well, I guess we know who wrote it, but it wasn't actually quite out there. So I didn't know that he actually came out and said, yeah, he's the one who wrote it. So I was hoping that we didn't just out him or anything.
No, I mean, he didn't outright say it, but I did talk to him about it. I said it's okay, but I just, if it came up that I could say that like you're the one who wrote it. I don't think he really cares.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can tell you about somebody who cares, and we can talk about that in a second. But yeah, so now just to give people who aren't clear on this or don't understand a little bit of background, Yogaba was actually looking into this code. And this was the Terraport code. And as much as he could look into it, because a lot of it is kind of locked down, you can't really see a lot of it, right? But he was looking into wallets. He was looking into different things. And some days before this incident happened, he did alert a few of us as to what he found and thought were some security vulnerabilities. And I'm not sure that anybody really knew what to do with that information. I know that I and probably a few other people reached out to Rexy at a point. Matter of fact, as soon as this article was released, I didn't even know if Rexy had seen it yet because I saw it within minutes of it coming out. And so I copied it and sent it to him. And I asked him, I was like, dude, what is going on with Terraport? Right. So we kind of knew that there were issues. And then a matter of days after all this information came out, then the attack, right? So I guess we're in a situation now where we want to know what was known, who knew it, who was the cause of it. And I reached out to Rex not long ago once I saw that tweet that he put out, and I asked him what specifically were the questions that he was referring to, saying that people should be asking the right questions. Do you want to go through those questions? Because I think they were great questions.
I mean, I prefer that you ask me them, so I don't answer all in different directions.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So when I asked the question, Rex sent me about 5 questions and he said these are some of the questions, right? And the first question was basically about the source code. Why isn't the source code being shown? I can tell you that I've had a couple of conversations with Rexy. And the last conversation I had with him was after the attack. And I asked him probably at least 3 times during that conversation if he would tell me who wrote this code, who was responsible. And I would not be given an answer. So why is it important, Rex, that we know who it is that wrote this code?
I mean, this falls back on a lot of the forensics that I've done to kind of figure out exactly what happened, who, where, why, and how it started. Just all that good forensic stuff without getting too deep, too into that. It's important because I already figured out the wallet that started all this, right? They've been doing testing and whatnot on contracts, sending funds back and forth, executing contracts, just testing throughout January all the way up until April. And if we can figure out whose wallet this is, then that basically just tells us who wrote the source code. The at least the liquidity contract code, right? And that's what's most important.
Right.
To figure out how this got planted inside this code, we need to see the source code. Like the code is kind of like a storytelling thing, just like blockchain data.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could get access to this part of the story, then a lot more things will be more clear towards like investors.
Now, I will say this to everybody just to make it clear: neither myself or Rex are financial advisors. Neither one of us are legal experts or anything like that. So anything that we talk about today is absolutely opinion and for entertainment purposes. That's the way we're going to put it, and that's the truth, right? But I do want to ask your opinion. Why do you think, if you want to offer your opinion, why do you think we can't see the source code?
When you find out, Trev, you let me know too, because at this very moment, that source code is not worth more than a Venezuelan dollar. So yeah. I don't know what they're trying to protect right now with that code. I have zero idea what the code is supposed to look like at this point, but I figure since it's like originally it's a closed source project, that keeping your code private is what gives it value, right?
Sure.
So at this point where there's absolutely zero liquidity in this project, what are you protecting at that point?
Right. Yeah, I agree. And again, I did ask several times, you know, who it was that wrote the code, and basically I was told, you know, that throughout the whole conversation, Rexy maintained pretty much the same thing, and that was that he was much more concerned with figuring out how to get everyone's assets back than he was a witch hunt, I believe is the way that he put it. So he asked me, what difference does it make who wrote that code? And you know, that if he was to say who it was that wrote the code, that would mean doxing someone who maybe doesn't want to be doxed. I got a lot of different reasons why he wasn't going to tell me who it was, and that we all weren't going to find out who it was. And I didn't feel like any of them were really good reasons, and I tried to explain to him that as best I could, that it's very important that we know who wrote that code, because if whoever wrote the code is innocent, then we can clear their name. If they're not innocent, then it's not a witch hunt. It's justice. It's finding out exactly what happened here. Did somebody do this intentionally? And trying to figure out how to rescue those funds for the people who lost out. But apparently that wasn't persuasive enough, because he never would tell me who it was that wrote the code. Although he did tell me that they have absolute KYC on every contractor and know exactly who everybody is.
I mean, I guess that story that excuse kind of went out the window, because now they're saying that someone put up a fake identity. So I don't know where this is going.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. All right, so that's the code. The next question was who worked on the project, and I guess pretty much we just kind of talked about that a little bit too. We want to know whose hands might have been in the pot, right? Are we trying to do an investigation unnecessarily? Because is this being investigated by authorities at this point anyway?
Supposedly it's being investigated by the UK authorities. According to Rexy's, I don't believe a single word that comes out of his mouth anymore. I do know that Binance is involved, as I am in direct communications with Binance, and I do have a gist of what's going on. But when it comes to their, legalities, I don't get involved in that stuff. I just leave it up to them.
Do you you say that Binance is involved? Are you suggesting that Binance is still investigating this?
I would say they still have the case open as far as like investigating. No, they just keep track of the wallets that have the most liquidity on them still, which is 45% that's still on chain that hasn't moved off chain yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because information that I got from a source that I trust says that they actually halted their, hold on one second, please. I'm busy.
No, I got that document.
Excuse me a second.
Yes.
Rex, I'm sorry, I have an emergency that came up and I am going to have to get back to you.
Oh, go ahead.
Very sorry about that. All right.
No,
Sorry,
fine.
everybody. I'll get back to you as soon as I can.